Rivenspire Lore, Part 3. The Horsefolk of Silverhoof by Dr. Nabeth Al-Ghilain, Kefram Academy of Yokudan Heritage. I scoffed, of course, when I heard the rumors. A lost colony of Red Guards on the northern coast of High Rock. Patently absurd. But the rumors were so persistent, so consistent, that eventually I was moved to take a sabbatical from my pedagogic duties at the Academy and travel north to see for myself. And behold, by the tears of Morwa, it was so. All of the scholarly details will be found in my forthcoming paper, Sevenfold Truths of the Tribe of the Herd Mother, but I shall summarize the main points here, as I feel this tale is too wondrous to wait upon the slow march of scholarship. On the northwest coast of High Rock, region of Rivenspire, some leagues west of the city of Shornhelm, is a pastoral basin known as the Vale of Silverhoof. Abiding there, as they have for the past 3,000 years, is a tribe of Red Guards who go by the simple name of the Horsemen. How did they get there? When and why? Unfortunately, the Horsemen have no written records, but their oral traditions are strong, and I have recorded those that have been passed down from one generation to the next. The elders of the tribe were generous with their time, particularly two named Maza and Nialda. From their tales, I've been able to piece together the following tentative history. The Horsemen originally came from Yokuda. Of this there can be no doubt, though they have become unavoidably Bretonized over the centuries by their contact with the Nitic folk who surrounded them. They remain a number of Yokudan words in daily speech, all spoken with that drawl in the vowels that we associate with the steppes of old Azaz-Kaza. A few examples will suffice from their riding terminology. To tell a horse to turn left, the horsemen say Netu, and to turn right, Netuhu. And to halt, they say Selim. Of course, Netu is old Yokudan for turn, while Anna Selim means to stop or cease. So the horsemen are of Yokudan descent, most probably from the herding clans of the northern Akos-Kazakh. The elders of the tribe maintain detailed oral accounts of their genealogy, and from the number of generations they record, it is possible to date their arrival on the shores of Tamriel to the early 6th century of the First Era. This was a period of upheaval in High Rock, when the Durrani hegemony was in its death throes and the Breton kingdoms were just establishing themselves. A time when a colony of determined settlers could find niche and establish itself before it could be driven out or absorbed by the indigenes. And according to the tales I've heard from Mazar and Yalalda, this is exactly what happened in the Vale of Silverhoof, nearly 2 centuries before the Regatta came to Hammerfell. Why the horsemen came to this land is harder to determine, for on that their subject tales veer into the legendary or even mythical. Here I must speak about the tribe's unorthodox religious beliefs, for they are central to their traditions and identity. For the horsemen do not worship any of the old Yokudan gods as we know them, instead venerating a sort of divine animate spirit they call the Herd Mother. This equine entity acts as the tribe's guiding and protective deity. Young horsemen must commune with her on a vision journey that they partake themselves, that acts as a rite of passage to adulthood, similar to our own tradition of walkabout. This Herd Mother is otherwise unknown to modern scholarship, but of course the vast majority of our cultural records were lost in the cataclysm that swallowed the Old Isles. The horseman's tradition is that the tribe left Lost Yokuda in order to preserve their worship of this Herd Mother, which was somehow endangered in the Old Isles. Their stories describe the journey from Akok-Kazaz in a flotilla of swimming horse ships, given to them by the Herd Mother, in which they crossed the 17 seas before reaching Tamriel. We may discount this tale as somewhat fanciful, but the horsemen claim to have brought their Epononius mounts with them from the Isles, and this I do not doubt. For to the eye, this connoisseur of horseflesh, the steeds of the horsemen are unmistakably identical to that breed we call the Yokudan Charger, and could have come directly from their Swallow stables in the Alakir. The story of Princess Eselde. This bit of propaganda was produced for House Tamarinth and distributed while Countess Eselde was in the south, studying with the Order of Arche. Upon a time, in the realm of Kotkap, there was a mighty king named Ruthrub. who ruled nobly and long. After many years, King Hrothgar felt himself getting old and started to think about what would happen to his realm after he was gone. Now, this king was blessed with 2 sons, which normally would be a happy thing for an aging monarch. But in this case it was a problem, for the youngest son had been born of his queen. Prince Pigeon was weak-willed and indifferent. In contrast, the elder son, Prince Lancer, was bold and self-assured, and though his mother was of House Rithmat, the noblest of Cutcap, still Prince Lancet had been undeniably born out of wedlock. Now, King Hrothgar was a wise king, and did not try to conceal that he favoured his elder son, Prince Lancer, as he was clearly the prince most fit to rule. But, nonetheless, when the old king finally went to Aetherius, some people felt that the milksop Prince Pigeon should take the throne. I don't know whether these people were merely misguided or had some other reason why they thought the rulership of Cutcap should be undermined. Fortunately, wiser heads prevailed, and Prince Lancer was elected King of Cutcap by the Council of Nobles. Shortly after Lancer's ascension to the throne, he met a damsel named Lady Vespere at a ball, and they fell in love. The lovely and clever Vespere was the daughter of House Rithmat, and, after a brief courtship, King Lancer told his Council of Nobles that she would be his queen. However, Count Pigeon, the former prince, objected that this would not be proper, as King Lancer's mother had been a Rithmat, and by the law of consanguinity, the Lady Vespere was too close a relation for marriage. On this, the rest of the council agreed, and King Lancer was persuaded to set the young lady aside. Upon hearing the news, Lady Vespere disappeared, and said to have been carried off in the forest by a coterie of Nixads, and though the king sent out search parties, his lost love was never found. In due course, the council recommended, for the sake of the dynasty, that King Lancer marry the young and healthy Lady Ignort of House Dull, and this, the heartbroken, he agreed to. Lancer and Ignort were married, and King Lancer settled down to do his kingly duty by his new queen. Within a few months it was announced that the Queen Ignort had borne King Lancer a child. A naming day festival was declared for the infant princess, and everyone important in the realm was invited. On the day of the celebration, all the goodly and great of Cutcap came, and laid presents at the foot of the cradle of Prince Ariel, for thus she had been named. But at the end of the line came someone no one recognized, a dire word hag, hooded and cloaked, and bearing a darksome flower. Now no weird hags had been seen in Cutcap since the year of Sun's death, but all feared her, and none dared bar her passage. The weird hag advanced to the princess's cradle, and when she came to its foot, she threw back her hood and cried, "Behold, King Lancer, it is I, Lady Vespire, now a weiress of the weird." The gaily clad crowd fell back in horror, for the formerly pretty Lady Vespire now sported a large nose disfigured by unsightly warts. "By some oversight you failed to invite me to your daughter's naming day, but I have come nonetheless, and look, I have brought the infant princess a present." "What present is this?" said King Lancer, all a-tremble. "A darksome flower? I like not its look." "That is no surprise, your majesty," said the weird hag mockingly, "for this is a forsaken rose, a blossom no one wants. I know what that is like, King Lancer, and so, by my curse, shall your daughter." The horrible hag then dropped the misshapen bloom upon the baby and disappeared in a flash of fire and a cloud of evil-smelling smoke. So it came to pass. Princess Ariel grew up beautiful as a rose, but cross-grained and petulant. But she was nonetheless a princess of the north, so when King Emitic of the south came looking for a bride, their troth was quickly plighted. But Count Pigeon had long made a habit of visiting the south, and was a boon companion of King Emitic, and he pointed out that the king of the south, that Ariel was cross-grained and petulant, and he might make a stronger match by marrying the Princess of Watchtower. In time, Emitic agreed. He broke his match with Ariel and promised himself to the Prince of the Watchtower. King Lancer, however, did not take this lightly, and he swore he would go to war upon the oath-breaking king of the south, and he made lawful war upon King Ematic. But at the Battle of the Tor, Lancer was betrayed by one of his own generals. King Lancer was slain, his crown and Princess Ariel both disappeared, and ever since the throne of Cutcap has stood empty. But some say that when King Lancer was born, a sister, twin sister, likewise saw the light of the world, but was spirited away by a weird hag to be raised in the forests. And this child, a daughter of both Rothrub and Rithmat, herself bore a daughter who was brought back to her maternal family, and this daughter was named Countess Eselde. And if the truth were told, all would know that her real title should be Princess Eselde, and she, and no other, is the rightful heir to the throne of Cutcap. However, this is a tale for her people to tell. I hope you've been enjoying these lore readings, and if you have, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.